turn to Ecclesiastes and chapter 10. We'll be looking at verse 8 down to verse 11. It has a way of stopping us from being in a hurry. Wisdom has a way of slowing us down, pacing ourselves. The wise are cautious. They are not frantic. They are not panicky. They are not desperate for progress. The wise understand the famous saying that if you rush, you crush. The wise understand the title of the message, that easy does it. The wise understand that easy does it. And that's the message of these verses. Let's read together from verse 8, Ecclesiastes chapter 10. He who digs a pit will fall into it, and a serpent will bite him who breaks through a wall. He who quarries stones is hurt by them, and he who splits logs is endangered by them. If the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength, but wisdom helps one to succeed. And verse 11, if the serpent bites before it is charmed, there is no advantage to the charmer. So wisdom is better because it gives a certain poise, a certain it takes away panic and hurry. Wisdom has a way of settling one down. And the world is marked by hurry and frenzy. It's not just that people want results, it's that they want results now. In fact, they want results yesterday. And there is nothing wrong with wanting results, but when you are so desperate, and when you're in such a hurry for progress and results and moving forward and being successful, it can really lead to some very dangerous outcomes. It leads to discontentment and a life that is reduced, and this is what we see in our society, to nothing more than a rat race. Everybody is running. Everybody is chasing. And nobody seems to stop and take it easy, to think, to slow down, to reflect. And it leads to bad decisions. And that's why the quality of decision making today is so pathetic. People decide what they should do and when they should do it on one basis and one basis alone, and its results. What will bring me success, what will bring me money, what will bring me progress the fastest. If this is it, if this is the direction to go, I'm gone. Any other consequences, any other things to factor in the thing, I put aside. If it brings results, let's go, let's do it. And if it brings results faster, that's it. That's the way we should go. That's the only variable. That's the only thing that matters. And many have wrecked their whole lives because of that kind of approach to life. But the wise are in no hurry. They understand that easy does it. So let's see in 4 particular areas from these 4 verses. We see in the first place that wisdom teaches us, number 1, to take it easy in our desire for retribution. Take it easy in our desire for retribution. And that's in verse 8, where we are told, he who digs a pit will fall into it, and a serpent will bite him who breaks through a wall. The word retribution, revenge for results, often leads us to want revenge now. And the verse is marked, in fact, the whole passage is marked by several proverbs, but in this verse we see two proverbs, one referring to digging a pit, the other one to breaking through a wall. Both of these phrases appear to be phrased in a negative context. Someone is digging a pit that they should not be digging. Someone is breaking through a wall that they should not be breaking through. People literally dug pits in the Bible. It was a very normal thing. They'll dig pits to have a well where they can get water. Sometimes dig a pit to have a grave. There was nothing wrong with digging pits, but the idea of digging a pit is often used, as in Psalm 7 verse 14, in a negative way, to mean figuratively setting traps for others. So you dig a pit so that someone falls into the pit. Psalm 7 verse 14 says, behold, the wicked man conceives evil and is pregnant with mischief and gives birth to lies. He makes a pit, digging it out, and falls into the hole that he has made. And I think that's the idea in Ecclesiastes 10. You have a wicked man conceiving evil, comes up with a plan. How am I going to get this person who I don't like, or get this person who's done this thing to me? And they decide to dig a pit with a goal for that enemy to fall in, and then they themselves end up falling into the pit. And that's what Ecclesiastes is talking about, that those who contrive wicked schemes against others risk entrapping themselves in the process. We come up with this elaborate plan. And when this person walks into this trap, I'll tell them off. Sometimes even at home, a husband and a wife, and the spouse plans, when she comes or when he comes and says this or does this, I'm going to. And it backfires. And instead of injuring your partner, you're the one who ends up injured. So it's discouraging those who are in this habit of wanting to level the scales and make people pay for what they have done now. And then the second picture is that of breaking through a wall. Now there would be no reason really to break through a wall other than something mischievous. You're up to no good. And so you break through a wall. And there's a warning here that those who go that route are likely to find a snake behind that wall. So these verses warn us primarily against being so desperate to get someone, so desperate to attack someone, even to the point of using wrong methods, taking shortcuts just to get back at them. And so we dig pits and we break through walls. When we take matters into our own hands, we end up doing damage to ourselves. I know we enjoy it in the movies, when you've got this guy who's good at karate, he's living nicely with his wife and children, and his enemies come and kill his wife and children, and the whole movie is about him finding them one by one and sorting them out, and it feels good. But never, never, never apply that now to your own life and say, it's up to me also to deal with these people. There's a very fitting application here to the sin of bitterness and anger. It feels very nice and soothing and justifiable when someone does something to us and it hurts us and it affects us, and we are filled with bitterness and anger against them. It's soothing to the heart to just have this anger and bitterness against. Maybe they don't even know that you're angry and bitter against them, but somehow it just feels good and nice, and it massages the heart to have this hatred and anger and bitterness against others. But James 1:19 tells us how that anger, bitterness does not bring anything good out of us. James 1 verse 19. Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. If you want to know what your relationship to anger and bitterness must be, as one who wants to honor and glorify God, be slow to anger. So this thing of having even bragging, me, I've got a short fuse, me, my temper, I just lose my temper like that. That's not godliness. Godliness is being slow to anger. Why should we be slow to anger? James 1 verse 20. For the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Good things don't come out of bitterness and anger in the heart. A bitter heart does more harm to itself than the person against it is bitter and angry with. We simply were not created to harbor anger and bitterness in our hearts. Doesn't matter what someone has done to you and how bad that thing is. I remember interviewing a man, a pastor, a few years ago, who explained that his father was an abusive man, a man who neglected his mother and his siblings, and he was the firstborn. And so he saw more than his siblings how what his father had done how it impacted his mother, and how his mother really had to slave and work hard to feed the family and take care of the family while his father was off misbehaving. And he says it led to real bitterness against his father in his heart. And he said, but somehow in my early years, late teen years, just about the time I was approaching the age of 20, God just revealed to me so clearly that I needed to deal with the bitterness that was in my heart. Because I was really wondering, how did you get past that? Because there are so many people who go 10 years, 20 years, even to their graves, bitter against people. Maybe the person has even died, but you just sit there with bitterness and anger against this person in your heart. And I said, how did you get there? How did you manage to get to that realization while so young? And he says, well, it was just through, being under the ministry of God's word and people faithfully preaching and teaching the Bible that I realized, no, I can't keep moving on with this in my heart. And so he forgave his father and even had a relationship with his father. He let the bitterness and the anger go. And similarly, I spoke to a lady who she was abandoned by. She shared with me how she was abandoned by her husband, and he was having an affair. They had 3 children together, and when it was discovered, instead of apologizing, he doubled down and left the family and went to settle with his mistress. And when the time came for the divorce hearing in court, she said when he came to court, he was vexed and, ready for a fight, ready for a court battle. And I said, no. Me, I'm not going to fight here. I'm not going to fight for property. Whatever you deem fit that I should walk away with, it's up to you. And he came, no, the only thing I'm giving you is the house or whatever. I need to get everything else. She said, no problem, you can have it. And he was just so, it's like he came in ready for a fight, and she wasn't ready for a fight. She told him, I've got no bitterness or anger against you. I've forgiven you for what you've done. Whatever you want to walk away with it. And she told me how the man broke down in court, in the divorce hearing. He broke down and wept bitterly. And she was the one who began to now comfort him. Don't worry, everything will be okay. And she had that freedom because she wasn't, the bitterness didn't constrain her and get to her. And she also didn't come with ready for a fight. And this is what you find, that there's a lot of collateral damage where children are made to suffer. Children are made to become weapons between these two people who hate each other. And it just does nothing positive. Bitterness and anger in the heart. It can cause us to dig pits, to set traps for those we are angry against, to break walls, break through walls that we should not be breaking through. And this can be in the form of lashing out in anger to insult people, tell them off. It can cause us to come up with elaborate plans about how we'll get back at this person for what they have done. And even lead to things like murder, killing someone. And you even see it, maybe you don't even have a chance to kill them, but when you hear that they were in an accident or they've fallen sick, your heart begins to feel good. Is that a good thing? Is that a heart which can seek after God and be in true relationship with God? When you feel warm and nice to hear that something happened to someone you hate and you rejoice at it. Anger and bitterness in the heart do not produce anything good. The only one who handles anger well is God. Because he is holy. And that's why his holiness is called, his anger is called righteous. Righteous indignation. Righteous anger. Whose nature has been changed. If it's just you in your human element and nature, forget it. You curse those who curse you. And you harbor bitterness in your heart. But when we are changed by the power of God, John chapter 1, and I think it's verse 8 or 9 or 12. Those who believed in him, he gave the right to become children of God. That's what we're talking about. Those whom God changes through faith in Jesus, trusting in Jesus for the forgiveness of sin. And God gives us a new nature, a new heart, a new disposition. And we can actually pray for those who curse us and bless them. Without God's intervention to make us his children, we cannot be like him. And Jesus puts it this way in Matthew 5, verse 44. But I say to you, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. God is not selective in who he blesses. The rapists still get blessed. The murderers still get blessed, just as the righteous. He's not selective. And when you bless those who curse you, you are like your Father in heaven, who also blesses those who are evil and rebellious against him. So remember what we're talking about. Wisdom is better because it helps us take things easy. In this area of retribution, wisdom is what helps us to stop. Not just when someone slaps you, immediately you slap back. Someone insults you, immediately you slap back. You can't stop to think it's action now. They must pay. How can you speak to me? Who do you think? No. Wisdom settles us down. Says stop for a moment. consider what this anger and bitterness will result in your heart. Consider what it will bring out of you. Consider what God says about those who are truly his children. Wisdom stops and says, I'll let it go. I'll let it go. So we take it easy when it comes to the matter of seeking retribution, our desire for retribution. We leave it to God, knowing that he will sort everything out in his own good time. Secondly, we see in verse 9, Ecclesiastes 10, if you go back to Ecclesiastes 10, verse 9, take it easy in the ordinary course of life. Take it easy. Wisdom teaches us to take it easy in the ordinary course of life. Ecclesiastes 10, verse 9 says, he who quarries stones is hurt by them, and he who splits logs is endangered by them. We come to two more proverbs, which seem similar to the ones in verse 8, but there's a difference, a significant difference. The previous two in verse 8 were referring to those who were doing what they should not be doing, digging pits to trap others, breaking through walls to revenge on those who have hurt them. This one in verse 9 is telling us about things that we should be doing, that are normal to do. In fact, it is not just that it is telling us what is normal to do, but it's even telling us what is actually productive to do. The first is quarrying stones. This is like, you know how there's a big boulder, a big rock in the ground, and you're trying to break it up into smaller stones, and maybe you want to use those stones for building or for whatever it might be. But you're breaking these big stones in the ground, excavating. This would have been a normal activity. The second one is splitting logs, either to make fire, to burn the logs, or to build a house. The point is, these are ordinary things that everybody would do, and these are even good things, productive things that people would engage in. And yet, we're being told that there is danger there. Who knew? Danger is not just in doing wrong things. You can be doing normal things. You can be doing everyday things. You can even be doing productive things and still find that there is danger there. He who quarries stones is hurt by them. He who splits logs is endangered by them. So the point here is that even in the ordinary activities of life, there is danger. Danger awaits. Problems await in the mundane activities of life, even in the productive things of life. We're discussing this at the, how temptation comes from, at the elders meeting yesterday, how temptation comes from things and places that you don't even expect. Peter was warned by Jesus that he would be tempted severely by Satan. Severe temptation. Luke 22, verse 31. Jesus tells Peter, Luke 22:31, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan demanded to have you. And we even paused in the meeting and reflected on that line. Imagine Satan demanding to have you. And by the way, you are no match against Satan. You know that. Satan is demanding to. Satan wants you. It's do or die. He wants you in his grip. For what purpose? That he might sift you like wheat. A better example is you take a towel that is wet and you squeeze and squeeze and squeeze until you get all the moisture out. But by the time it's done, it's dry as though it was in the sun. Nothing left. But, verse 32, I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned again, strengthen your brothers. Now imagine the kind of temptation that Peter, of course Peter said, I'll never fall for any temptation. But I'm sure Peter was waiting for just a big temptation, something massive. Satan has demanded to have me. He wants to sift me like wheat. This must be massive. And you can see how prepared he was when an army came to arrest him. He was ready because that's what he was expecting, some big temptation. But he was equipped. He took out his knife and he was ready to kill and fight. And he ended up narrowly missing someone's head and just chopping off their ear. And he was ready. But that's not the temptation that got him. You know what it was? It was a servant girl. A little servant girl who no one can be threatened by, who came and pointed her little finger in his face and said, you were one of those who were with Jesus Christ. And that's what got him. So ordinary, so harmless, so unthreatening, and that is what got him. And that's life. That when you think it's a big thing that is going to take you down, you'll find it's a very ordinary thing. It's a very normal thing. Something that you would have never thought was capable of taking you down. That's life. Temptations all around. From the most unlikely of places. In the ordinary course of life. You would think that it is only prostitutes who make people to commit adultery. No. The majority of people who commit adultery, it's with their schoolmates. It's with their workmates. Ordinary. You didn't go to work to go and sin sexually against God. That's where it catches you. People who are just minding their own business, trying to be productive, trying to focus on work, and it finds you there. Those who are imprisoned for stealing, go and ask them, what got you? No, it was a 10 kwacha here, 20 kwacha there. That became 100 kwacha. That became, and then this thing grew. But where did it start? Harmless. Small monies which nobody could detect and pick up. And so you find people destroy their lives, their families, their careers, not because of extraordinary temptation, no. Ordinary, regular, day to day. As we have noted, this is not just about the danger that lies in the ordinary course of life, even the danger in being productive. You want to make something out of your life. You want to, do something that is good and all right and is productive. And even there, you end up messing up. Maybe you've watched those movies where there's a person who finds himself in bad company and is influenced by the wrong people, and they end up committing some crime and they're arrested. Next thing they know, they're in court, they're being sentenced, 1 year imprisonment or 2 years imprisonment. And they're really thinking deeply, how did I get here? I wasn't even looking for trouble, and now I'm in prison, now I'm in jail. And they make a commitment that I'm going to change my life and change my ways and do the right thing. And in the movie, when they enter prison, some gangs in the prison start approaching them to join. And you know what they say? No. Listen, I don't want any trouble with anyone. And you know what they say? I just want to do my time. Just do my time quietly, and I'll, leave after 1 year or 2 years when the sentence has been fulfilled and go and make things right. we all know what happens to them in the movies. That they don't actually live a quiet life. That all manner of problems and challenges and temptation follow them, even though they learnt their lesson. And they just want a quiet life in a corner somewhere, saving their time and be done with it. But does life work that way? And you might be here saying, yeah, I'm not so much into church, so much into God. But certainly, I'm not one who's really so interested in being wicked and, fighting people and doing the wrong thing and being a criminal. No, I'm a good person, generally. I make mistakes, but I'm a good person. And for me, I just want to live my life just in an ordinary way, no trouble with anyone, just neutral. I remember when I was growing up, that's what I used to think. Because I was praying for God to save me and it wasn't happening. And I was thinking, what if God never saves me from my sins? So I thought, you know what? If God doesn't save me from my sins, I won't be in church, neither will I be in rebellion against. I'll just be in the middle somewhere. Just get married, have a family, go to work, don't trouble anybody, and live my life quietly until I die. It never happens. Never happens. Because problems are not in this great evil thing, these big temptations. No, they are in the ordinary course of life. The ordinary. Even those who want to be productive. Yeah, I won't be so much into God. I won't be so much into... I'll just do the right thing in my own small... It doesn't work. There is no neutral ground where you can be safe and secure and not hit by any problems, no temptations, no trouble. If trouble found Adam in Eden, a perfect environment, trouble will find you. No matter how perfect you want to make your environment, no matter how neutral you want to be. You have to be all in when it comes to God. There is no security anywhere else. There is no hope anywhere else. You can't say I've got a tour, I've got a tour, I've got some relationship with God. We are connected. I go to church, once in a while, and hopefully that's enough. No, it's nothing like that. There is only safety at the bosom of Christ, in the arms of Christ. There is no thing like neutral ground. This verse is telling us, in the ordinary, there are problems. Problems will find you there. So this is a call to take it easy in the ordinary course of life. That's not to say be lazy. Don't fight for more. Don't yearn for more. But it's to say don't be in a hurry either. If danger lies in the most unexpected places, we will certainly destroy our lives. If we're not cautious. If we are not deliberate in a hurry. Wisdom guides us to take it easy. This is a call, therefore, to be careful, to be thoughtful, to be deliberate, to be wise in all things, by fervently and passionately seeking after God, seeking after a relationship with God. You need Him in your everyday life. I know it looks simple to wake up in the morning, go to work and do it for 30 years. Knock off 17, go home. Looks simple, no danger, straightforward. Who can mess up? Who can make mistakes there? It looks so, but listen to this proverb. Listen to what it's saying. Those, Ecclesiastes 10 verse 9, he who quarries stones is hurt by them. He who splits logs is endangered by them. There is no safety anywhere. than being focused on pursuing God and God alone. Anyone who compromises on that exposes themselves to grave danger. And I'm sure you know it in your own life. Think about the times you've messed up. Was it a seismic temptation? Oh, the biggest temptation in the world. No, it was in the ordinary course of life. It wasn't extraordinary. It wasn't supernatural. It was in the ordinary course of life. You need God to survive an ordinary life. Can you believe it? Can you imagine? That you mess up your life. You mess up your family. You mess up your career. As simple as it looks to do and achieve. Without the Lord. You need him and I need him. Thirdly, take it easy for growth and competence. That's in verse 10. Take it easy for growth and competence. Ecclesiastes 10 verse 10. Follow me here very carefully. Verse 10 says, if the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength. But wisdom helps one to succeed. If the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength. But wisdom helps one succeed. Are you seeing the theme of easy does it? Don't be in a rush to exert revenge. Don't be in a rush in the ordinary course of life in trying to be productive. Don't be in a rush. Adequate preparation. If the iron is blunt, you waste your own time. Sharpen the edge of the iron first. I know everybody has run off and they're already axing the tree. Take it easy. Slow down. Don't be in a hurry. Sharpen that thing first. He who doesn't uses more strength. The cost for them is higher for rushing than the one who takes it easy. Who knows that easy does it. Let me not be in a rush here. Wisdom teaches us that easy does it. Wisdom helps us to succeed. I want us to think about this in this way. Many people, many of us, go under great frustration and we are demotivated because we see so much potential and ability in ourselves that others just don't seem to recognize. And so they kind of keep us down and keep us low. And we know we are capable of so much more and so much better, but they don't give us those opportunities. And it gets frustrating. And it gets demotivating. Can't they see I'm capable of more? Especially in the workplace. With this job. And people can't recognize. You even go and study at your own cost. You come and show your boss, have you seen I had a diploma? Now I've got a degree. Nothing. You are kept in that same place and no one can recognize. Some of you have even proved yourselves. And other people are able to recognize. But you, why do they keep you? Look at all you've done. Look at all you're capable. Don't they see it? And it just drains you and demotivates you and frustrates you. This verse is a call upon you to take it easy for purposes of growth, to take it easy to avoid frustration in the stage of life where you are. This is not meant to discourage ambition or pushing forward. This is meant to say that if after all your efforts you're still stuck, if after all your efforts you can't seem to progress, slow down. don't be in a hurry. Rather, focus on honing your skills. Focus on learning. Focus on growth. Focus on competence. What we must understand is this, that wherever you are, whenever you are in a place where you are frustrated, where you know you are capable of more, but you can't seem to get out, you know what should register in your head? God wants me here. When it's clear that you're capable, you're ready for the next stage, you're ready to develop and move on and progress and so on, everyone can see it, but for some reason, despite all your efforts, you can't seem to progress and move forward. Do you know what that should tell you? That for that time, God wants you there. Because guess what? He's the one who elevates anyway. He's the one who promotes anyway. He is still on his throne. So maybe God wants you, and maybe this is what should change in your thinking. Lord, what do you want me to learn here? In what ways do you want me to grow here? I've got my axe and I'm ready to go to work, but I'm held back. Maybe you want me to sharpen the axe, so that when the time is right, you open the door and I can go through. And when I begin to get to work, I'll be ready to do the work that you want me to do. That's what must shift in our thinking. God always knows what he is doing. And again, this is not a call to be content with little and not strive for more and strive for better. It's a call not to be frustrated, not to be demotivated, not to throw in the towel. It doesn't matter anyway. No one's recognizing I'm capable of more. God, can't you see that I'm ready for what is next? I'm ready for what is coming. Can't she? Not even going to make an effort anymore. Don't do that. As you wait for God to open doors, your attitude should be, Lord, help me learn what you want me to learn as you keep me at this stage. He's capable. And at the appropriate time, he will open the door. When we lose our motivation and get frustrated, we miss out on what God is trying to teach us. We are no longer in a position to receive the growth and competence that God is trying to place in us. Because all you can think of is what is next. Why am I still here? Why am I not moving forward? And you can't learn what God wants you to learn. And when God does move you, you'll be like the people described in this verse. They use more strength because the iron is blunt. Self-concentrating on learning and growing, all they could do was waste their time, be frustrated. And they missed out on what God was trying to teach them. With God, nothing is wasted. Your experiences which feel depressing, which feel negative, are not a waste with God. I know they're frustrating for you, but they're not a waste with God. He has a purpose in them. He fits them into what he's ultimately trying to achieve and do in you and through you. When you get frustrated and demotivated, you are failing to cooperate with what God is doing. And many people have seen this in life. People will tell you, you know, I only understood at the age of 50 why that thing happened when I was 18. Now is when I've understood. Now is when I've seen where it fits in where I've ended up today. We cannot explain life in the moment. We're too small, we're too finite, and we've talked about this before. God is doing something so much bigger and greater, we can't see it. It makes more sense looking back when you are far away from it, that it begins to, oh, that's what that was about. Why was I even frustrated? Why didn't I cooperate? Why couldn't I just wait upon the Lord? And there are so many, many, many more things that God is doing which we will not ever even get to understand and know how it fits until we get to heaven. When God is going to tell us, remember, when your father and mother died when you were 4 and you remained an orphan and life became so hard and you ended up dying before you could even get into adulthood, only 18 years old, and you die. And as far as you're concerned, my life is a waste. I lost my parents when I was an orphan. I was an orphan at 4 years old. I suffered all the way till I died when I was 18. And you get to heaven and say, actually, this is what I was trying to do. This is how I'm going to use what you went through in a bigger way. We'll only understand it when we get to it. Ask Ruth. We've talked about Ruth before, who could have never known that 10 years with her husband, and the husband dies and leaves her childless, and she's pushed into a life of poverty and begging. She could never have known that she was going to become the great-grandmother of the great King David. That's what that was about. I don't think even by the time she died, she understood it. She couldn't have known what God was doing. Child would give birth to a son known as Moab, from whom Ruth, the Moabitess, would come, from whom David, who knew? What about hundreds of years? And when you are frustrated with your small view, all you see is this, out of a view as big as the universe. That's foolishness. You don't know what God is up to. Be faithful and committed where you are. Lord, teach me what I need to learn here. Grow me in the way that you need to grow me. I know that at the appropriate time, you change this situation and you make it better. We just do not know what God is doing. And that's why stressing, worrying, rushing is foolishness. Take it easy. Wisdom dictates that we take it easy. Look at Romans 8, verse 28. The famous one. All things work together for good. So if you get a phone call from your doctor, and it's coming at Hillview, okay? Someone will get cancer. Maybe it will be me. And we're all going to be on this journey as a church, walking alongside. I hope it won't be you, but somebody's going to get it. And we'll have to walk this journey, a painful journey of someone fighting cancer that might even lead to their death. Or if it's you, and you get that phone call, don't panic. Don't be in a hurry. Begin to do your research about what the cancer is, how to get treatment, best treatment. Begin the treatment. Let's start praying with everything we have. But don't be in a hurry. Don't panic. Take it easy. And focus on saying, God, whatever it is you are trying to achieve here and right now, I submit. Help me to submit to what you are trying to do. Maybe to make sense, I'll die, and when I'm in heaven, I'll leave my wonderful family, And when I'm in heaven, that's when maybe I'll realize what this was all about. But help me to trust you and be open to what it is you are trying to teach me. Our prayers must always be, Lord, let me learn what you want me to learn in this season of life where you have placed me. That must always be the godly man and the godly woman's prayer. Not panicking. Hey, how do we get out of this? Come on, shortcuts. What are you doing? We have to get out of our own heads and get out of our own agenda and plans and see that God in heaven is not sleeping. Romans 8 verse 28. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together, the good and the bad, for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. And his purpose may not be that you make a lot of money. His purpose may be that you die next year. But even that he will use for good. What good? Verse 29. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, in order that he might be the firstborn among many brothers. And those whom he predestined, he also called. Those whom he called, he also justified. Those whom he justified, he also glorified. It's not about you making money and becoming the boss and having a wonderful life down here. It's about you having a wonderful life up there. That's his greatest purpose. And everything he is doing is feeding into that for those who will be up there. Finally, Ecclesiastes 10 verse 11. Take it easy with your lofty ambitions. I hope no one, I know it's a deceptive title, easy does it. I'm by no means suggesting that we must not work hard and strive and be ambitious. I'm saying there's a way you can be ambitious in a hurry, full of shortcuts. There's a way you can be ambitious while taking it easy. Remember, I was talking to a friend of mine who's got a busy, successful career. And I was telling him, man, I've been telling you, sit down with these examples we have before us of Christians who made it to the top and they took it easy. They were the most committed people to the Lord, and they've reached the top of their career. They've made the most money, and they didn't make any shortcuts doing it. They didn't sideline God doing it. Sit with them and learn from them. Because this thing, I couldn't, I'm no longer. And I quiz, why aren't you in church? I'm calling your pastor, because I know him. Is this chap in church, this friend of mine? No. Not in church, busy with work. And I call and scold. What are you doing? Make the first things first. What are you? I'm busy. I'm running around. I need to catch up. What are you doing? Who said that you can only be successful and get to the top that way? In your own strength. Being ambitious all over the place. Take it easy in your lofty ambitions. Ecclesiastes 10:11. If the serpent, having children, has really helped me to see that when it comes to God, so many of us are like children. I feel there's no better description I've seen or illustration of many of us, our relationship with God and the child's relationship to the parent. My 1-year-old, when you try to bath her, it's like, for me, I sweat. By the time I'm done, I'm sweating. Just the work of bathing her, changing her, dressing her. You know the reason? She can't cooperate. Can't cooperate. So when I put her in the bath, she's got no concept of cleanliness and dirt. So when I put her in the bath, in the bucket or whatever to bath her, it's playtime. Right? Pa, 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 banging the water and standing up and, lifting the water. It's playtime. The idea that I'm trying to make her clean does not even occur to her. That's not a concept in her mind. So for her, the agenda, my agenda is cleaning her up. Her agenda is what? Playing. So finally, after wrestling with this little thing, you now put her in a towel and take her. Now you are trying to dress her. Mama. You have to be strong. She's doing splits with her legs and she's doing somersaults. And you put her down, you try and grab something this side to put on her onesie or her diaper, you turn back, gone, naked and gone. And you rush, you bring her back and you put her down. And now it even becomes, she's now upset. She's now crying. And you're trying to lay her down and she's, fighting you. And you're trying to put her hand in there. And it's warfare. It's a war. And the reason is, the concept of being dressed is not there in the brain. For her, even as naked as she is, no matter how cold it is, she's ready to move on with her life and continue playing with her own agenda. That is so many of us. We have no idea what God is trying to do. In fact, the question doesn't even arise in our minds. We ask you, what's your ambition? What do you want to achieve? You are very clear. Very clear. Need to rush and do this. When I get this, I'll do this. Then I'll make that money. Then I'll what? Then I'll I've already found the girl. Then I'll propose to her. I've found the man, handsome. You can't propose to him. I'll make myself available and he'll come and propose to me. And we'll have a wonderful... Your plan is outlined, clear, perfect. You have no idea that God also has a plan. No idea. The only plan in your head is yours. The great God of the universe is just there to facilitate what your plans are. But what is up to, it doesn't occur to you. That's not enough. Can you answer that question? Can you tell me what God is up to? How many of you? Or do you think God is just there in heaven to facilitate your plans and to help you along your way and to help you achieve your agenda? And that's what helps God sleep at night. When you achieve your agenda, he says, my job is done. No, he has an agenda, but do you have any idea what it is? It's actually there in Romans chapter 8, the verse we read. For those, Romans 8 verse 28, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. For those who are called according to his purpose. What is his purpose? Which if I'm aligned to it, all things will work together for good. What is it? Who can answer that question? Nobody. It's running around, doing my own thing. What is his purpose? Salvation of a sin-sick world. Verse 29. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, in order that he might be the firstborn among many brothers. That's why he came down here, to make you and I, who are sinners, deserving of hell, have a shot and even a guarantee at heaven. That's the whole point. That's the whole agenda from Genesis to Revelation. That's what keeps God awake at night. Getting you and I, sin-sick people, to heaven. Did you know? Verse 30. And those whom he predestined, he also called. Those whom he called, he also justified. And those whom he justified, he glorified. Is to get you to glory. Did you know? Has that ever occurred to you? Here's my second question. how does that fit into what you are doing? Or more appropriately, how does what you are doing fit into that? Have you compartmentalized? God, you do your thing, all the best. I'll throw you a kwacha there or once in a while to help you with what you're doing. Meantime, I'm busy. Got my own agenda. Or have you ever stopped to think, how does what I'm doing? I'm an accountant. I'm a doctor. I'm a cashier. I'm a student. I'm broke. I don't even have money. But how does whatever it is that I'm going through, wherever I am, how does it fit into what God is doing? Do you know where frustration comes from? It's like that child that is rolling and crying. It's a failure to appreciate that God is doing something and what he's doing must prevail. There is no parent here who will bend down to stop bathing the baby and cleaning the baby because the baby only wants to play in water. The parent's will prevail. There is no parent who's going to abandon dressing the child because the child is rolling and doing somersaults in bed. Fine, let the child be naked. No, the parent's will must prevail. Do you know that God's will must prevail? And have you asked yourself, how do I fit into this? Have you asked God, how do I fit into what you... Because it's all about you. And that's what Ecclesiastes is all about. Running around in circles, rushing in a hurry, doing your... Stop for a minute and think. What's life about? What is God's doing? For some of us, we haven't even been changed ourselves. We're not even on stage one of what God is trying to do. We are still in our sins, heading to hell while chasing our own agenda. We're not even part of those who love God. For whom all things work together for their good. And there's even more of us who claim that we are. But we're doing our own thing. That leads to frustration. That leads to demotivation. Who is God? What is he trying to do? And how do I fit in? For those of us who have never asked that question, may we be ready to recognize that maybe we have never even known you to begin with. Because those who are your children are given wisdom. Their lives are turned upside down. And they live for you. We know that there is so much that we yearn for and desire. We have plans and we don't want to throw a wet blanket on any of those. But we never want to make that a priority over what you are trying to do and over who you are. So do these things. Help us all. In Christ's name. Amen.